Hi folks, welcome to today's Bobcast. I'm Bob Benny, Certified Financial Planner.
I'm Jessie Thompson.
And we're with Bob Benny Wealth Management right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And today's topic for the Bobcast is what's going on with the market. What is going on with the market, Jessie?
Well, the market is down year to date. The S&P 500 is down about 6%. Now, that might surprise
6%?
people, and today is the 31st of March, okay?
Yeah.
We have talked to a number of clients who have wondered how their accounts are doing and been worried about the stock market, and they think that really things are much worse than they are because of how the news media is reporting everything that's going on with the stock market.
But 6% is not that big a deal. I mean, it's a big deal, but it's not as bad as the news media is making it out to be. That's for sure.
And it's always a little bit of a shock, I think, when you've seen your accounts growing for a long period of time. But just as a reminder, this happened just last March, I think.
Yeah.
And it was much worse. What was everything down? 12 to 15%?
Right.
And we ended the year great.
Yeah.
Was it around 16 or 17% overall return for the S&P 500? And so just a reminder that drawdowns like this, up to even 10% or more, are very normal. They're a normal part of investing. They happen almost every year. In fact, drawdowns between 5 and 10% have happened every year in the S&P 500 at some point during the year, and every year since 1980 except 2 years. And a lot of times they happen more than once. They might happen 2 or 3 times a year where there will be a little bit of a dip in the market. So it's very normal. Drawdowns of over 10%, which is correction. If you see the word correction anywhere in something that you're reading, a correction is when the market goes down 10% or more. And so the NASDAQ, I think, went into correction territory over the last couple of days. The S&P 500 hadn't reached it. It's probably bounced back out of it today by now already.
But the word correction doesn't even really mean anything. If the market goes down 10%, they call it correction.
Yeah, but even that type of drawdown is also super common. It happens on average about once every 2 years, and usually lasts a few months. And a lot of times the market comes back and still has a positive return by the end of the year, because as a reminder, the S&P 500 has an average return of about 10%. And so a lot of times during those average years, we're going to have a drawdown in the middle of the year, and then the market's going to return and back to its normal performance.
And this isn't.
So
go ahead.
That's not to say that it's impossible to have a crystal ball and know exactly what's going to happen, but just to kind of zoom out and have perspective of what's normal, so that you don't think that the sky is falling every time that there's a little bit of a dip in the market, I think is very helpful.
Right. And this isn't abnormal market behavior. This is just normal. This is all part of being an investor. You need to take some of these dips in order to recognize the overall long-term average return of 10% over the long haul. And pretty much all of this seems to be driven by uncertainty. It's not that the companies are not making money. That's the key thing everybody needs to understand. These companies are making money. They're growing their profits by and large. Most of the companies are growing their revenues, growing their profits, and are very healthy. But what's going on is there's sort of a little bit of a panic going on, driven by the news media about uncertainty regarding the war and oil prices and that kind of stuff. But everything's going to be okay. We're confident that everything's going to be okay with the market, because the companies are making money in spite of all this and in spite of all the news media is what they're saying.
Yep. So we just want to remind everyone that now is not a good time to get out of the market. It's not a good time to go to a more conservative portfolio just because it's a little bit uncomfortable. This is just a normal part of investing, and one of the kind of little valleys that you have to endure on the journey of being an investor. Yeah. And we're not worried about it. We're not.
Right. We're comfortable with how your money's invested here.
Right.
So,
yep. So
anyway,
if you have any questions, or if you're feeling worried or concerned, please don't hesitate to call us and talk to us and let us kind of talk through all of that with you.
Yeah,
So
you're welcome to call us.
we hope you have a blessed week, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.